this question. Your first name, your last name, and your title, please.
First name is Steven, last name is Rustin. I'm Fire Shift Commander, San Antonio Fire Department.
Rustin, R-U-S-T-O-N.
Correct.
Tell us what happened out here, please.
So we got an early morning alarm for a structure fire. We're at 514 Schley. Got a fire station just down the street. They actually had the doorbell ring. They didn't know what it was. They kind of smelled it, and then the tone went off. So they were here very quickly. When they arrived, they had heavy fire conditions on the back side of the house. Within, I'd say, with the first 5 minutes, 10 minutes maybe, they had some, I think it was about 10 minutes, the arrival of some relatives asking about a potential victim on the inside. So our crews pushed in. They were on an interior offensive operation. They were able to knock down the fire, get to where the resident normally sleeps at night, and unfortunately found the victim deceased in that back room location. So Arson's on scene investigating. We don't have a cause. The damage to the house is significant. So there's going to be heavy damage there. Don't have a monetary number on that yet, but it is very significant damage.
Where did the fire look like it started in that home?
Well, being that the significant, if you look at the front of the house, it's just smoke, and on the back side you have the burnout and the char. So the area of involvement is definitely to the back of the house. We don't know exactly where it started, whether it was an interior ignition or exterior. That's where our fire investigators and arson investigators are really digging into the rubble to see if they can narrow it down.
So they did not get a phone call, they got a ring to the fire
Got a
station?
combination of things, and that's common when we have, especially these early morning structure fires. We'll get a passerby, they'll call dispatch, we'll get multiple calls. People walking by, especially if they see smoke and they're over by a station, they'll come ring the doorbell. But in this case, I think they rang the doorbell and ran off. So by the time our firefighters came to the door, nobody was there. So you don't know if that's a prank or if there's something to it. But when you couple that with smelling smoke, then the senses start all coming together. And then right after that, the tone actually went off to dispatch the engine from the fire station around the corner.
This is the third fatal fire in the area in 3 days?
I believe that's correct. I know we had one yesterday on Montezuma, and we have this one here this morning. So that's adding up, and this is unfortunately a reality of when these cold temperatures set in our area, and we have several different causes. A lot of times it's space heaters, but the real thing that everybody, I mean, we do the messages, the PSAs about keeping space heaters away from combustible objects, but the thing that we really got to hammer in for everybody, and look out for your loved ones, your family, and you're at each other's homes, make sure your smoke detectors work, make sure they're present. Nowadays, the smoke detectors don't have the same batteries they used to. They last up to 10 years. So it's important to just check those as often as you can, make sure that they function and that they're in the appropriate areas in the house. We do have a program to request smoke detectors. You can call 311 and request the detectors. You can go on our website, on our fire prevention area and community safety, and do a smoke detector installation request. But honestly, smoke detectors aren't expensive for most, so they're very attainable. We have those programs in place for those that can't get them themselves, but for the majority of the population, go out to the store and get a smoke detector if you don't have one functioning.
Can you tell us anything about the victim?
All we know is elderly male in the back of the house. We have some family on scene, but that's all we know.
Does the family live nearby in the street that they were alerted so quickly?
They must. I'm not totally positive on that, but they got here very quickly, so I'm assuming that they live in or around the area. I'm not exactly sure where, but must be nearby.
Was there evidence of smoke detectors in this home, or that there was a space heater or anything like that?
I haven't got any of that information yet. Unfortunately, and not speaking to this situation, that's often a combination we see whenever we have elderly living alone in an older home. In this area of town has a lot of older homes and residents that have been here a very long time. And it's very common that, time gets away from us and we think that smoke detector was checked last year and it was 5 years ago or so. So we really got to be diligent, not just to look out for ourselves, but look out for our older, our grandparents, our parents, and so forth. To whenever we're in their homes, just ask the question, and we do that as first responders. We come into these houses for a medical event or something that's not a fire in nature, and we'll do those kind of checks. But we can't get inside every home, so it's really a full community effort.
Is there any idea on who could have done this? I know we heard some chatter about homeless encampments in the area.
I don't think that had anything to do with this at all. That is a factor in the community, but to ignite a home like this right next to it, it's pretty isolated to the house. I don't see that being a realistic cause of this fire.
Is anyone detained, or is there still just kind of a focus on the house with the arson?
There was one individual that was detained momentarily to be interviewed, and as far as I understand it, no charges pending or suspicion or anything, just information gathering.
Wind a factor. It's a wind factor.
The wind, you can feel the wind right now. It's not heavy. It's right in here next to Highway 90, so that alone generates wind. But it wasn't a factor. I think if we had a really severe wind, this house could have gone completely up. So we have been battling wind with the way the weather's been going. But this morning, I think we got kind of a break. It looks pretty calm right now. I think maybe 5-mile-an-hour winds or so. Usually when it gets above 10, definitely above 15 miles an hour, we're going to put that into our equation for how we're going to fight the fire. And
No firefighters hurt. Nobody else hurt.
no injuries. No.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. You're welcome.